Hey, good morning. My name is Leslie Williams, and today's date is January 7th, 2013, and it's, well, hang on a second. Let me prop this camera up so I can take care of my morning business while I'm making this video. That way I can try and keep my schedules on schedule as much as possible. This particular video is going to be about, hang on a second, I'm having one of those brain freezes. I just woke up about an hour ago, within the last hour, and, okay. This is going to be an informative video, and this video is going to be about just one very small aspect of, some of the criminal motivations that are attached to the organized stalking, gang stalking, expeditions and the perpetrators who perpetrate them. Now, make no mistake about it, the individuals that are involved, who are directing these criminal campaigns, are in the system. I have no doubt about it in my mind whatsoever. Excuse me. And this statement comes from, well, I've been an open target now for 13 full years, every single day in at least 2 states. And the reason why I say in at least 2 states is because I'm saying that statement that way for strategic and legal purposes. And over time, if it needs to be exposed concerning why I stated it that way, I will. Now, as a result of having 13 full years of open, overt, and at times direct harassment, okay, and the victimization of these crimes as well, for over 13 years now, I have been able, and then once I discovered what was happening to me was gang stalking, well, let's see, the open campaign started in late 2000, okay, and then I didn't find out the name of the crime that was happening to me until June 9th, 2009. So I literally suffered this crime for over 8 full years without having a name for it. And then once you acquire the name for it, you're able to then investigate it so it's not so psychologically traumatizing, psychologically undermining, okay? And you can also ascertain more educated knowledge from the research, because you have the terminology to research once you discover that what's happening to you is organized stalking, which can also be termed as gang stalking. Okay, if I say organized stalking in this video or any of my other videos that you might watch concerning what is happening to me or my fellow targeted individuals, if you hear me say gang stalking, understand please, you can also definitely, okay, research this crime by organized stalking as well. In fact, you'll probably get more, I like typing in organized stalking, because I have found that you get more Google generated responses, and you get, and as a result you get more information. But you can also get additional information by typing in gang stalking, and you'll get a lot of information concerning, because it's the same exact identical crime, it just goes by many different names. Now, like cause stalking, revenge stalking, group stalking, and so on and so forth. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, as a result of me, once I became aware that what was happening to me was organized stalking on June 9, 2009, and then, and even though it doesn't matter that I discovered that, you know, on that day, it doesn't matter that I discovered the name of the crime was still continuing towards me, and still is, on a daily basis everywhere I go. Now, as a result of this 13 full years, almost 14 now, of everyday experience, okay, and then all the acquired research from June 9, 2009, which, as a result of all the acquired educated knowledge from the research since June 9, 2009, the day I discovered that what was happening to me was organized stalking, I have been able to cross-reference the educated knowledge to the experience. As a result, okay, and as a result of everything that has been going on in my life at least since 1980, I have been able to go back in time and see how things have happened to me, relationships have been foiled, the methods and tactics that were used to do all these things since 1980, I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that this expedition has been going on around me, concerning me, towards me, and about me since at least 1980, more than likely because of who my family was connected to. And my family was middle upper class, okay? They weren't outwardly or even casually noticeably involved in any type of crime whatsoever. They were upper middle class. My dad went to work every day. He was retired from the Air Force. My mother was a stay-at-home mom. When we were kids, we went to church every weekend. Yes, my parents didn't, but they sent us kids to church every weekend on the bus. Okay? So I had no reason to suspect at all, in any way, shape, or form, okay, that my parents were at least involved in it at some level. That's right, baby cakes. And so you would not believe what I know. You just would not believe it. The intention for this particular video is to inform, to expose the truth. Not just about what's happening to me, but to give you some educated knowledge concerning the mentality of the perpetrators. This is going to be a very good video. Just trust me. Just stay with me. Now, in order for you to be able to see just one small aspect of this crime, of the crimes that the perpetrators bring about against targeted individuals for their criminal motivations, is to hang on a second. I woke up with sinuses. Is to give you some information that you can research on the internet. And part of that information is, go to Google and type in a gang stalking tech, everything you need to know. It's a manifesto of a manager of gang stalking crews. He flat out states, I think it's a he that wrote it, it could be a she though. That person who wrote that manifesto flat out states right at the very beginning that they are a mutual for-profit organization. It talks about syndicated schools, fire departments, police departments, individuals in the mayor's office, doctors, judges, lawyers. The fact that in reference to their thinking that they state in the manifesto, well, the person stated in the manifesto, the one who wrote it, that the favorite place to trap the targeted individual is in the courts. That's judges and prosecutors, baby cakes. Okay? So, when you look at this manifesto, right at the very beginning, you will see that it's run very tightly, that it's a syndicate is what it is, and basically the syndicate is set up in different, you know how the FBI is called the Federal Bureau of Investigation, okay? The Bureau means that it's like a department in itself, okay? And then in that department has different departments, like one department might take care of crime, like insurance fraud, securities fraud, kidnapping. Okay, so the Bureau has different departments that take care of different types of crime. Well, the syndicate is set up into bureaus as well, and each bureau does a specific thing for the syndicate, but it's set up to where all the bureaus are set up to play an intrinsic role for one desired result. That's right. And all you got to do is read the manifesto. Now, why am I making this particular video? I'm making this particular video because I want to be able to illustrate to you that even one of the thinking processes, the thinking patterns behind these criminals in reference to just one type of crime. In organized stalking and gang stalking, we can clearly see by looking at the manifesto and by researching on the internet that the police are involved in these crimes. And I'm not saying every single police officer. Of course not. That would be ludicrous. That's profiling. We all know what happens to any selected group when you profile. Okay? But I'm going to tell you something right now. The manifesto does state that even entire police departments have been taken over. So even the uncorrupted ones need to very much watch their back. That's right, baby cakes, because if the corrupted ones who are involved in these syndicates, okay, or if you have one cop that wants to be part of the syndicate, you can't trust people nowadays, baby cakes, because they'll do anything to earn their stripes for the syndicate. And basically what I'm trying to say is that if you got a good cop who's getting up and kissing his or her, or if it's a man kissing his wife goodbye, and he's going to work and he's strapping it on, and he's thinking to himself, thinking to himself, I'm doing what I'm doing because I feel it's in my blood to do what I do. There's a lot of cops out there that got it in their blood. You know, hey, trust me, I went through most of my young adult life wanting to be a cop, and I couldn't because of my learning disabilities. That's right, baby cakes. So I know, and my father was Chief MP to General Curtis LeMay. Okay, so it's in our blood, in a sense. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that these filthy sewer rats that are in the system at every level, including corrupted cops, will put uncorrupted cops in harm's way to protect the syndicate and to protect themselves and to protect their crimes. So police officers, take what I'm stating seriously at every level. Watch your back. Now, as far as the syndicated corrupt ones, I can't begin to tell you how much I don't care about you. Anyways, alright, this particular video is going to be a video that's going to help you see a 0.0001% of the thinking patterns of what these syndicated filthy sewer rats in the system are capable of and what they do. And it is as follows. There's specific law enforcement tools called the community notification, the offenders notification, and the sexual offenders notification. Now, put those three names that I just stated aside. Just put them aside. Okay? Then look at how the other types of law enforcement tools that even can, like the computerized systems that they have, which can even connect to federal agencies, state departments, okay, state agencies. That's right, baby cakes, and DMV, which is your Department of Motor Vehicles. Okay? If these computerized systems, like the lien system, are being illegally and criminally used by these syndicated, corrupt, filthy sewer rat police officers and the ones above them, okay, then we can easily see, and all three of those descriptions I described that I told you to set aside up here, if syndicated, corrupt, organized crime police officers or their captains, lieutenants, sergeants, or whatever have access to these law enforcement resources, they can easily and will, without a doubt, and all of this can be Googled and cross-referenced to organized stalking, put a completely, 100% completely innocent individual, your average Joe, you know, that average person that you're seeing walking down the street on the way to the bus stop, or at a restaurant, or at a mall, just minding their own business, going about their day with their mail in their hand, or walking out of a Ralph's grocery store, just heading to where they're going, minding their own business, doing absolutely, literally nothing wrong. These filthy sewer rats in the system are using law enforcement tools and resources to put completely innocent, average people on these, in these resources. Okay, and combining them with, but not limited to, bogus criminal investigation files. Every description I state can be Googled and cross-referenced to either organized stalking and or gang stalking. Okay, that's right. They can put them on any of these descriptions I've already mentioned. Okay, and also the continued descriptions that I mentioned, because they are part of the methods and tactics of these criminalities, like creating fake bogus criminal investigation files. That's right. Slander, lying about the targeted individual, calling them a drug dealer or a drug user or a prostitute, or you can go to YouTube and type in "listen to a stranger" to give you a preliminary visual pictorial representation concerning how these filthy sewer rats can dupe anybody to do anything for them based on the prestige of a badge and a lie. Do it. Just do it. That video was made to illustrate to the community, in part, how gang stalking operates. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. I am a target of organized stalking and gang stalking. I am not mentally ill. I am not a threat to myself or others. And I am not involved in any illegal or criminal activity whatsoever. And I do not associate with anyone, let alone anyone that is involved in any illegal or criminal activity whatsoever. But these are, but not limited to, the types of descriptions that these syndicated police officers and even the ones that they're connected to, they also have specific positions of authority in the system, will label targets as being. That's right. In order to get, but not limited to, create the motivation, in order to solicit the motivation of community members, innocent dupe community members, to do things for them based on the prestige of the power position, the badge of authority, you know, the badge which represents authority, and then the theme of the slander. It's literally how it operates. That's right. If these individuals will go as far as creating fake, bogus criminal investigation files, watch the YouTube video, listen to a stranger. Okay, because then that way you're going to be able to literally visually see the fact that they do this. Literally. Okay? Now, as a result of all these law enforcement tools and resources being used, but that's not the only thing they do. They have power positions in the community to be connected to and have the resources to be able to connect with connections in order for them to be able to connect with, but not limited to, church groups, fraternities, sororities. They can influence universities. The university is already involved in gang stalking on their own, because corporations can initiate gang stalking, institutions can, organized crime can, the government can, and the wealthy. That's right, sweet peas. But when whoever initiates it against the organized stalking, gang stalking target, all of the individuals and places that are used already in the gang stalking will participate in the gang stalking of the targeted individual, because they're already part of the same syndicate. Excuse me. Now, syndicated schools are flat out mentioned in the manifesto. That's right, baby case. Now, this is the reason right here why I made this video. And I'm going to give you an illustration concerning the cost-benefit analysis, concerning how easy and effective it is in order to basically get help from anybody in the community. Think about this. Say if you have 1 or 2 police officers who have spent 20 years on the job, okay, and they're either right before the sergeant level or right between the sergeant and the lieutenant level. What does that tell you? That should tell you that they've been on the job long enough and have enough awareness in reference to how the police department is constructed, in reference to knowing the entire scope of all the resources of the department, and even the probation department or the parole department, because the police officer himself or herself has been on the job for 20 years, so he knows how the system works. He knows the resources attached to it. The police department, he knows everything. He knows all about the justice system and everything, because he's had to appear in court. He knows how it all works, including having relationships with, or at least knowing how the district attorney's office and the prosecutor's office works. Okay? I'm sure he's probably familiar now with multiple different prosecutors, even probably judges. And if there's syndicated judges with them, which the manifesto states there is, okay, we can easily deduce that this syndicated cop who's already gone up in the chain of command has got connections. Basically what I'm trying to say is this. Over that, I'll call him a man in this particular video, over the 20 years of that individual being a cop, do you honestly think that he has not run across certain individuals that have been busted for, but not limited to, organized crime, street gangs, specific types of criminals, like rapists, people that will happily break into your home, locksmiths even. Yes, because locksmiths have even been busted for crimes. That's right. Handymen have been busted for crimes. Are you getting the picture? Landscape workers. What I'm trying to basically say is this, is that you have career criminals that have been busted by career criminals. You get the point? A huge aspect of organized stalking and gang stalking is nothing but white and blue collar workers who are criminals, who are part of the syndicate, who are using their employment descriptions to perpetrate these crimes, aid and abet in them, and then use the system to protect them. Not just the crimes, but to protect themselves. My name is L.C. Williams. I'm in San Diego, California. So if you look at all the aforementioned described places, okay, and types of groups that can initiate and perpetrate these criminalities, and how they all work as a group, okay, to protect each other. Okay, think about it this way. How can one targeted individual go into 5 different businesses in one day, a public library, and then a university campus, and then a university library, and experience the same exact identical gang stalking harassment, organized stalking harassment, at each and every place by, but not limited to, security guards, employees, managers and people coming in acting as customers. Who's got that power position to get that many different types of places and persons who have, I mean, think about it. Who's got, do you really think that street crime has got the power position to motivate and collude with and influence public library employees, public library branch managers, university employees, university public library employees, university campus police, university library police, library security? Who has got the power position in the community to get that kind of cooperation to literally influence these people, to literally influence them to do specific behaviors that are directly connected to gang stalking? The gang stalking harassment that the targeted individual experiences at one place is the same exact identical to a T harassment that the targeted individual experiences at the next place, and then at the next place, and then at the next place, no matter where they go. Post office, bank, post office, which is federal, banks. Who's got the power position to call up a bank manager and say, when she or he walks in there, engage in certain physical gestures in order to let them know, because what they want the targeted individual to realize through their scene is that these guys are so big that they can even get bank managers to engage in gang stalking, overt harassment for the targeted individual to see once the targeted individual goes into that bank. Who has got the power position at what level to do these things? Organized stalking and gang stalking, is it perpetrated at the federal, state, and local level? Yes. It's all over the internet that it is. Just research it. Baby cakes. Now, when we look at these factual realities concerning how they can solicit, but not limited to, all the aforementioned descriptions, businesses, universities, public libraries, we can and security guards of any of these places that I've already aforementioned, we can easily see how they can stage an event towards a targeted individual once the targeted individual is at these places. And that's not including the transportation services, like public transportation, buses, trolleys, their bus drivers, their security. Who has got the power position to do this, and why? Let's take a look at not only the perpetration of these crimes, okay, but let's take a look at how they operate in reference to protecting the criminality of the places they... If a place is used for harassment of a targeted individual, that's at least civil harassment, stalking, criminal intent to harass, which makes it a felony, okay, malice aforethought, okay, that shows intent, that's attached to intent, conspiracy against rights. All of these are felonies. So, if an individual that's in the system, no matter what level, is using their employment descriptions to perpetrate these criminalities for criminal intent, we can easily see that these places can be sued, including the people at these places can be sued, civil and criminal. Now, if a targeted individual has undisputable proof that they've been gang stalked at each of these places they went to in the same exact identical way, and I'm talking about video proof, audio proof, and paper trail proof. That's right. And additional proof like notaries. What do you think the perpetrators in the system will do to protect them and to protect the places they've used? Because these places they've used can always just turn back. I'm talking about, like, not the ones that are like really syndicated, the ones that are just being, you know, measly mouth used, like a Jack in the Box or a Denny's or whatever. Okay? The syndicated ones are the ones that are the real problems, like the public libraries, the universities, possibly the banks, the post offices, definitely, police departments, and any major institution or major corporation like a Ralph's grocery store or stuff like that. The people who are soliciting these individuals to aid and abet in these expeditions know that they got to protect the people they've used. Because otherwise, the people they've used, do you really honestly think they're just going to sit back and bend over and say, well, geez, I don't mind if you do this to me? You know, do you really think they're going to sit back and say, I don't mind if you do this to me? Of course not. They're going to protect them at the judicial level. You better believe they will. Syndicated judges, syndicated prosecutors, syndicated district attorney's office members, syndicated cops, and who do you think listens to all these people? Court officers, sheriffs, other police officers. Because they don't know the gist of the situation, and even if they did, do you really honestly think that they're going to step on people's toes? Of course not. So what is this video about? This particular video is about, what it is about a cost-benefit analysis. Okay? What would it cost these places in order to protect what they've done in reference to? They know that they would have to, not only that, I mean, if a targeted individual is lucky enough to find a lawyer who can't be influenced, intimidated, or bribed by these organized crime members in the system, if they're lucky enough to find an uncorrupted lawyer, once these complaints start to be filed, the individuals will pipeline the paperwork, of course, before a syndicated judge, but if that syndicated judge does not follow the letter of the law, there's additional things that can happen to him. Even though they probably won't. That's right, because they protect this crap at every level. Make no mistake about it. And a little bit of that information is already on the internet. That's right, baby cakes. But what am I trying to say here in reference to a cost-benefit analysis? I'm trying to get down to the nitty-gritty. Hang on a second. And then I gotta end this video. I'm going to give you a fast illustration concerning cost-benefit analysis. Cost-benefit analysis. The illustration, and the illustration I'm about ready to describe to you right now, is basically known by a lot of people already. Many Americans, okay? Because of things that they've read and things that they've seen on the news or on radio shows. And the following is a cost-benefit analysis that has been covered on the news many times. Insurance companies engage in it. The car industry, the insurance, multiple corporations have engaged in these kinds of criminal activities from behind the scenes. And I'm going to explain them right now as soon as I take a couple puffs off the cigarette. And I want you to listen to this, because this is going to blow your mind if you haven't kind of already heard of this type of these types of criminal techniques and intentions. Alright, here it goes. Now, hang on. A cost-benefit analysis in reference to criminal behavior in corporations and or government and insurance, including insurance companies, is this. And this can happen in any part of the government or industry. But I'm going to give you an example in reference to the car industry, the automobile industry, so you'll be able to see it pictorially with your mind's eye. And it is as follows. Say if you have a certain truck, okay, that has a defect in it, okay, and as a result of the defect, it's causing injury. Like the electrical systems are causing the car to catch on fire, and multiple of these defects have caused truck fires on the highway, and they have resulted in accidents, which has resulted in personal injury and even deaths. What the automobile industry has done in the past, and I'm not going to state any specific car company. Hang on a second. Well, one of the things that these automobile industries have done in the past when it comes to defects in their automobiles is they do a cost-benefit analysis. And what is it? What do I mean by that? What it is a statistical analysis. And basically what they do is they look at, as a result of previous recalls and previous situations like these, identically like these, is they look at, well, how many of these makes and models of this particular truck that has the defect have been made? Where was the truck made at, and how many did this particular plant or plants produce these types of make and models, where they backtrack and are able to scrutinize through statistical analysis how many trucks had these defects. That's how they're able to recall trucks. once they realize that a defect has been found. Okay, so they basically have a number. And then they look at how much will it cost us to recall the truck or to settle out of court in reference to the types of personal injuries that the defect is causing or deaths. And then what they'll do is do a ratio. Will it cost more to recall the truck and fix the problem, or will it cost more to settle out of court for the injuries and or deaths? And then they look at the bottom line. What will cost more? And automobile industries have done this. They have literally let defects ride out and continue because it will cost them more to recall the truck than it would to settle out of court. Now, why am I bringing this up? In organized stalking and gang stalking, when you got gang stalking going on a university campus, especially a prestigious one, okay? That's right, especially a prestigious one that is nationally recognized as being a prestigious university. And I'm going to give you some examples in reference just to prestigious universities. I'm not saying these particular universities are or are not involved in gang stalking, like Stanford, Harvard, MIT. Okay, and certain prestigious medical and research universities. These universities generate hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Even universities that got very good football teams. Now, they make huge amounts of dollars, and they generate a huge amount of dollars to the tax base of the state and county that they're in. Which means that the government, you better believe, will protect those bottom lines as well, sweet peas. So, what would cost them more to settle out of court, okay, and risk the university's image concerning it being tarnished if the criminal activity they were involved in gets out to the public's awareness, like through a news report? Look at what happened with Penn State in reference to one individual, Jerry Sandusky. They lost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and they still are today. Because of one individual. Look at what happened because of what happened to Laura Dickerson, Eastern University. In Michigan, she was raped and murdered. They covered that up like you would not believe until they couldn't anymore. And you wouldn't believe the lies they used in order to cover that crap up. Just like with what Penn State did. The point I'm trying to make is this: is that it doesn't even cost 0.00000000001 of what to gang stalk a target, to run them down, to break them, and to discredit them, that it would cost to even think about starting litigation to settle with the target in court. In other words, what's the difference between a penny and $100? Do you see what I'm saying? It would be cost effective for them to gang stalk a target to death. Okay? To death. Than it would to settle out of court. That's right, baby cakes. Because it's not just settling out of court. They got to worry about future public exposure in reference to them being exposed because of the types of crimes that gang stalking is involved in, including but not limited to torture, rape, human trafficking, neural enslavement for sexual exploitation. Neural enslavement for sexual exploitation for human trafficking. And this is where some of the technological resources that organized stalking and gang stalking syndicates, the perpetrators, have in their possession that can neurally enslave a targeted individual. Go to YouTube and type in Timothy W. Bioethics Issues. He talks about neurocognitive weapons and brain entrainment. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. I am a target of organized stalking and gang stalking. And human trafficking is a huge role in gang stalking. And one of the ways that they put a targeted individual in such dire physical circumstances is to create circumstances that are covertly managed, overly executed, and designed to make it look like they're happening because of normal appearing reasons. Like, but not limited to, even taking them off of Social Security. Because money is what helps keep a targeted individual independent from the places that these perpetrators can influence and control from behind the scenes, like, but not limited to, homeless shelters, charities, churches. Again, every single description that I have described in this YouTube video can be cross-referenced to either organized stalking and or gang stalking. My name is Leslie Williams. I make these videos to inform, to expose the truth, because the truth needs to be known for what it is. Universities are involved in gang stalking on a scale that is almost incomprehensible, unimaginable, and they do not care about your son or daughter whatsoever. I'm a good woman. I was a college student when this crime started openly happening towards me. I was literally gang stalked on my own college campus and then a university campus that was 500 feet away from that college by, but not limited to, library staff, security, library security, campus safety staff, teachers, students. Do you honestly think for 1 minute that anybody can look anybody in the face that's got the ability to use analytical processing, critical thinking, deductive or inductive reasoning, and common sense? All you got to do is research it, and you will see by using these types of mental processes that these criminalities are happening on university and college and high school campuses. And then if you say to yourself, okay, they are, then why won't the campus police or the police departments do anything about it? The bottom line. That's why. So, if your son or daughter are going to a high school, college, or university campus, and these criminalities are happening on these educational landscapes, then all you have to do is think to yourself, you pay your property taxes, your sales tax, and your income tax to send your son or your daughter or your relative to either work or go to school at these campuses, and these types of criminalities are happening on these campuses, but yet the police, campus police, and library security, or any other law enforcement that is connected to the university itself, does not care at all. The bottom line is what they care about. Period. End of story. So, just ask yourself, if these types of criminalities are happening in the system and how the system is being used to perpetrate them and protect them and then to protect the places that they're using, how safe are you? How safe is your son or daughter or your relative? I do what I do because it's the right thing to do. I don't do what I do because I have a grudge because of how much I've been hurt or how much my life has been affected. I do what I do because I'm a grown woman. I'm middle-aged now. I'm old enough to be in the AARP. And I remember what I went through. And I know what I'm still going through. And I do not want this crime to happen to one child at all. I don't want a mother to hold her head in her hands, or his or her father to think to themselves, what can I do to save my son or daughter? I don't want them to ever to go through what I went through. I literally lost my ability to have children because of these filthy whores. And they will do anything and everything to protect themselves. I'm still a victim of this crime. I experience it on a daily basis through creative, overt means. And I'm about ready to go and close this video down. But before I do, because I got to start my day, but before I do, I'm going to give you a tidbit of information here, in-your-face proof. On November 20th, 2013, which was not even 2 months ago, because today's date is January 7th, 2014. So this didn't even happen 2 months ago. On November 20th, 2013, excuse me, I walked up to a UCSD campus police officer and told him to his face, as a running tape recorder was running, that every single time I go on UCSD campus, individuals get around me and repeat gang stalk. That's their way to let me know that I'm being gang stalked by repeating certain physical gestures and or words or phrases around all my routes every single day, everywhere I go. I even experienced this by specific bus drivers on MTS. And if you don't think that bus drivers are not capable of being involved in crime, I strongly suggest you look at what happened with those 3 innocent babies that were kidnapped in Ohio and kept in a house for 10 years. And raped and raped and raped and raped and raped and raped for 10 full years. The individual that did that to those 3 girls that he kidnapped was a bus driver. I'm in San Diego, California, and the manifesto that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I talked about how the syndicate is set up into bureaus, and each bureau takes care of a specific aspect for the syndicate. The Bureau of Travel is mentioned right in the manifesto. The Bureau of Travel, Amtrak. And I'm not saying that Amtrak is directly, I'm talking about trains, buses, trolleys, employees. Now, on November 20th, 2013, I approached a UCSD police officer and I told him that individuals are getting around me every single time I am on their campus, including by employees and saying gang stalk around me. They're a way to remind me that I'm a victim of this crime, to taunt me concerning it, to remind me about it, and to keep me in a constant mental and emotional loop concerning how I'm being reminded about it every day. It's their way to make you feel stalked, because they got to know where you're at and who you are to do it. And they even had the dumb audacity to get around me for almost the last 2 years along all my routes and repeat gang stalk, 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 and gang stalk, gang stalk. Oh my God, we are crazy, gang stalk. In that way, non-stop for almost 2 full complete years, every day, everywhere I went, non-stop. I caught a branch manager at the San Diego North University San Diego Public Library say it as I walked by him. Caught it on audio. I caught it on audio file, and then he didn't even deny it on video. That's right. I want you to listen to this. I told a UCSD campus police officer on November 20th, 2013, that every single time that I went on their campus, that individuals are getting around me and repeating these words. It's their way to let you know you're being stalked by repeating words, phrases, or physical gestures around you everywhere you go. And that's not their only techniques. 8 days later, on a sidewalk right up the street from UCSD, 2 separate individuals approached me and started harassing me and threatening me, and as they were doing it, they were saying gang stalk. They both said gang stalk together. One said gang stalking, and then that same one said gang stalking, I'm going to F you up. Now, that happened right up the street from UCSD on Thanksgiving Day, 8 days after I talked to the UCSD campus police officer on their campus. Now, when that event occurred on Thanksgiving Day, it was caught on a running recording tape recorder. It was then transferred to this phone. Okay? And I'm getting ready to play it to you right now. Do you hear these individuals say gang stalk together? Then the one in the background says gang stalking. Then that same one says gang of stalking, I'm going to F you up. And one of the individuals involved in this harassment and threats has harassed me on anywhere between 8 and 11 separate occasions. Do you hear them say these words? Now, I was already making this is the truth, right? I mean, this is the literal, what I'm about ready to say right now is all over the internet already in reference to published videos. Hundreds of videos are online right now that were already published before this event on this date, stating that individuals are getting up on a sidewalk concerning a specific location and saying, gang stalk, why don't you come and steal our stuff? You just heard one guy say, gang is stalking, I'm going to F you up. Let's take a look at that. I was making hundreds of videos that were already published online before this event, stating that particular individuals were getting up on a sidewalk pertaining to a specific location, and as they were riding their bikes by, were saying, gang stalk, why don't you come and steal our stuff? So let's look at this just real briefly. Gang stalk was being said, along with a threat. Why don't you come and steal our stuff? Then these guys get on a sidewalk and say, gang stalk, I'm going to F you up. A threat. That brings alive the fact that I was already stating that individuals are getting up on a sidewalk and saying, gang stalk, why don't you come and steal our stuff? They like anchoring threats to keep you mentally preoccupied about what they're going to do next to you. And then they make sure that you know it's because of gang stalking by saying gang stalk as the threat is occurring. They intentionally try to form mental associations. Okay, they create fear and make sure that you know the fear is being created because of gang stalking. That's right. It's done for terror campaigns. Alright, I gotta go because I gotta start my day. I appreciate you listening. Fellow American citizens, if you could help vlog or viral this video for me. I experience these crimes on a daily basis. And check this out. Ever since this event happened on Thanksgiving Day, they went back to using certain physical gestures. They're not saying gang stalk around me nowhere near as much as they were. I got over 800 separate audio files on multiple tape recorders and microcards that go in this particular make and model of this tape recorder. Okay, the little microcards that you can buy and put inside the slot right here on this tape recorder, this make and model, so you can extend the memory. I have over 30 microcards. And right now in my possession I have over 15 tape recorders. 800 separate audio files, at least, of gang stalk being set around me for the last 2 years. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. So then just ask yourself, why won't the San Diego police make one police report? And was this tactic literally caught in their headquarters? Yes, it was. Alright, I gotta go. I appreciate you listening. And the only thing I hope and, the only thing I ask of my viewers is just say a prayer for me. My name is Leslie Williams. I am a target victim and activist concerning these criminalities, and I cannot get no help at all because this is organized crime in the system that perpetrates these criminalities, protect them, and then attempt to literally call the targeted individual crazy, mentally ill, when they complain about them. I don't know about you, sweet peas, but audio files do not lie. I appreciate you listening, and have a good day.